Hello, and welcome to Chapter 13, the Byzantine Empire. I personally really like the Byzantines, so this will be fun. I've definitely drilled this into you guys by now, but Eastern Roman Empire is the Byzantines. Yeah. So, after the Islamic conquests of the 8th century AD, the Byzantines are kind of, I guess we can do what happened before that. So with the fall of the Western Roman Empire, you have the Eastern Roman Empire is pretty big, but you're not really the Roman Empire if you don't control Rome, right? So one of the early Byzantine emperors, Justinian, so he does a couple of cool things. One, he codifies Roman law into a very condensed code, the Code of Justinian. So it's like a new legal code that kind of simplifies, because imagine you have, okay, so Rome is founded in like 750 BC, and now it's 500 AD. It's almost 1,000, that's more than 1,000 years of legal precedent. So, and that's spanning a lot of stuff in pagan law and Christian law. So he codifies it down, simplifies it, makes it nice. And then another thing he does is he sends his general Belisarius to retake some of the important Roman cities, eastern coast of Spain, Carthage, and Italy. So he retakes Rome, but in doing so, he kind of bankrupts the Byzantine Empire. So, it's kind of up in the air what the actual effects of his rule are, but he does, kind of put the empire back together. But his descendants don't totally hold on to the gains he made. The war to retake Italy had made Italy kind of a wasteland, so it's not an economic boon to control it. So now they're actually spending money to hold on to Italy. So, so now the empire is bankrupt, and then especially with the rise of the Islamic armies later, they are heavily pushed back. So now the Byzantine world is Greece and Anatolia, Cyprus, Crete, some of these islands, and then little holdings in Italy, which kind of fluctuate. And so something they're constantly dealing with is Arab raids into their land, and if you live on the coast of Greece or the coast of Italy, you're constantly in danger of an Arab, fleet or Arab boats coming and attacking and stuff like that. So it's not fun to be a Byzantine. So, Byzantine Empire goes on in this weakened state, and then they do have fluctuations of more power, less power. One of the things that happens is, like I mentioned last time, during the Crusades, the Venetians, who are trading rivals of the Byzantines, lead a crusade that ends up sacking Constantinople, destroying it, and they set up a Latin Empire run from Constantinople, which just kind of deepens the divide between the Orthodox and the Catholics. And then even though the Byzantine Empire comes back in 1261 after the Empire of Nicaea kind of puts it back together, it's much weakened. So now, it's about 1300, and the Byzantines control Constantinople and part of Greece, nothing in Italy. So and Trebizond too. So very weak, and now, especially after the Battle of Manzikert, there are lots of Turkish Muslims living in Anatolia, and they have these small conquering states called beyliks, and they're fighting against each other, fighting the Byzantines, and eventually one of these beyliks organizes itself fairly well under Osman, and they form the Ottoman Empire. And these Ottomans are eventually able to take over the last remnants of the Byzantine Empire in what year? 1453. Excellent. So, 1453 is the end of the Byzantine Empire, and now you have a united Turkish Ottoman Muslim Empire in Anatolia and Greece. Now, with the fall of the Byzantine Empire, a lot of Byzantines choose not to remain in the new Ottoman Empire, and so they go to Italy. Italy had, before that, been experiencing kind of a boom of culture, going back to the stuff the Romans had. So now having Greeks show up, these Byzantines, and some of their books and stuff like that, it just adds fuel to the fire. So you have humanism, and some of the architectural stuff is now getting a new burst of creativity and all that great stuff. So now this is the beginning of the Renaissance. So in French, naissance means birth, so renaissance, rebirth. So kind of a rebirth of European thought and stuff like that. So Renaissance, very heavily in Italy. You have a couple of artists, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo, all the Ninja Turtles. You have across Europe, great stuff, woodcut paintings like Albrecht Dürer, humanist books like In Praise of Folly, Erasmus. So a whole bunch of different ways of thought are coming about because people are reading. And so one of the things to think about is it's hard to have a lot of education and political thought, philosophy going when the society is heavily feudalistic, like it had been in, say, the 800s, 900s. But now with the rise of burghers, there are people who are middle class who have the time to be doing stuff like this, and much wider than just the nobility. There's more comes from that, political developments from having a middle class that come more with the Enlightenment. But within the Renaissance, now you have, say, like the Medicis, wealthy people who have the means to commission art. So now that creates art because they're paying for it. So yeah, and so with the spread of all of this Renaissance, and then you have the invention of the printing press, that leads to some religious stuff, which we'll head on next time. Yeah, let's see if there's anything else they want with the Eastern Roman Empire. Yeah, I guess I kind of hit on the Renaissance a little bit. And yeah, okay, so that's it for episode 13. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we'll see you next time.